Sony Bravia Theater Quad. If you are ready to drop your next vacation fund on sound, the Theater Quad shows up in 4-speaker form, marching into your living room like the Avengers of immersive audio. For music, it is airy and packed with sparkling detail, building a wide as the Grand Canyon soundstage, but the bass just politely nods from the corner, because big price, no dedicated subwoofer in the box. So, your wallet weeps, your ears rejoice in the highs, and your playlist loses a little thump. Feels like a guilty pleasure at a 5-star resort. 7 out of 10. Samsung HWQ800D. This bar comes in swinging with punchy bass, high-clarity vocals, and surround sound so lively, your neighbors will think you started a home club night. While movies kick hard and music gets poppin', the treble sometimes gets sharp enough that you might worry about waking the dog, so keep your finger on the volume button. At this price, though, the HWQ800D is a mid-range beast that's ready for both your action freakouts and your guilty pleasure playlists. 8 out of 10. Vizio Elevate SE. Elevate SE delivers more boom per buck than a surprise balloon pop, serving bass that's cozy and high notes that never stab you in the ear, all wrapped in a body that's built to take hits and toddler tantrums alike. Up-firing speakers and custom modes mean your listening can go from action flick chaos to chill music session at the touch of a button. But don't expect to feel sounds overhead. They're more above the bar than above your head. It's affordable Dolby Atmos that makes your playlist dance without steamrolling your rent. 8 out of 10. Klipsch Flexus Core 200. Klipsch's Flexus Core 200 is basically a muscle car zooming into your living room. Think rich sound, powerful bass, and up-firing speakers that make your music sizzle. The build is solid enough to survive clumsy toddlers or late-night dance sessions, but expect the feature set to be a little light. No Wi-Fi, no DTS, and no magical auto-calibration buttons for lazy audiophiles. Still, it delivers crisp tunes and punchy dynamics that make it a fantastic music upgrade for most setups. For this price, it's almost rude not to consider it. 8 out of 10. Samsung HWQ90D. Samsung's HWQ990D is the soundbar you buy when you want your music to punch you in the chest and whisper sweet nothings in your ear at the same time. Every genre feels like it's getting a VIP concert experience, with 22 speakers and surround sound that's more immersive than your last existential crisis. Setup is quick, the bass is weighty, and music streaming options are endless, although you may occasionally wish the LED display just told you what you need instead of acting mysterious. 10 out of 10. TCL Q85H. The TCL Q85H is a budget beast, cranking out lots of sound and giving you wireless rear speakers, but it tries so hard to fill the room, it sometimes loses its sense of direction. Vocals wander off and bass just lurks below 60 Hz like your neighbor's cat. Music lovers get a solid stereo experience, but surround sound tends to bury the singer in the mix, and the system's tweaks can't quite rescue the vibe if you're picky. I would say it's okay, not great but good. 6 out of 10. Marshall Heston Hawaii. This bar is so rock and roll it looks like it's about to ask your TV out for a drink, and then blast Queen till the neighbors move out. The bass hits seismic levels, and the musicality makes you wonder where all the other soundbars left their talent at the door. Thanks to 11 drivers and top-shelf stereo width, every playlist sounds epic. It's massive, it's gorgeous, and it's not cheap. But for pure music joy, this Marshall makes your living room feel like Wembley in '85. 9 out of 10. Amazon Fire TV Soundbar. Amazon's budget beauty tries hard to fill your living room, but ends up sounding like your TV got a mild vitamin boost and still skipped leg day. Its sound is excited, with decently clear dialogue and bass pretending to be all grown up, but it's about as immersive as listening to your playlist through a pair of socks. Some useful tricks, sure, but let's face it, you'll be wishing for more oomph if music is your jam. 5 out of 10. Sonos Arc Ultra. This Sonos feels like it's hired a band, a crowd, and possibly your grandma just to make every note land perfectly. Honestly, it's the soundbar equivalent of a fancy concert hall in a chic matte finish. It gives you definition, detail, and a stunningly balanced soundstage with bass so deep your houseplants vibrate, and nothing ever drowns the vocals. If your playlist wants to feel smart and rich, this is the one to give it a new address. 10 out of 10. Creative Stage V2. Budget but bold, this little bar struts in with its own beefy subwoofer, serving up deep, punchy sound that honestly feels way too good for the price. The vocals come out clear enough to make soap opera arguments extra dramatic, and you get adjust your bass options if you're feeling brave. Okay, its plastic finish is a dust magnet, and don't expect it to rattle your walls. But for music lovers that want more boom, this is a steal. 8 out of 10. Bose Smart Soundbar 900. Are you feeling fancy? This Bose packs room tuning smarts that make every playlist sound like a live show, and its Atmos magic can spread instruments across your ceiling. Yes, even in tiny apartments. Voices sparkle, detail shimmers, and if you pair it with the optional sub, bass gets a serious upgrade. Though solo, it's a tad too polite with low frequencies. It costs more than concert tickets, but for immersive music that's crisp and balanced, you're in for a treat. 9 out of 10. Roku Stream Bar. Tiny but mighty. The Roku Stream Bar squeezes streaming and sound upgrade into one adorable package, with dialogue so clear you'll finally catch those mumbled verses. It's best for small setups. Music sounds alright, but don't expect party-thumping bass, unless your idea of a rave is polite toe-tapping. For bargain hunters who want decent tunes and easy streaming all in one, this one punches above its weight, just not above your expectations. 6 out of 10. Polk Magnify Mini AX. This little soundbar comes in looking like a chunky candy bar but hits your tunes with all the force of a drummer who's just stubbed his toe. The bass thumps hard enough to shake your toe socks off. Even your neighbor's cat will feel it. But vocals sometimes sound like they phoned it in from the guest bathroom, and that giant subwoofer is basically a housemate. Wide sound, party bass, but not quite the whole musical package. Fun for dance nights, less so for audiophile appreciation. 7 out of 10. Yamaha Yas 209. Yamaha's Yas 209 brings all the convenience of plug-and-play to folks who hate fiddling with gear and just want their music loud, proud, and Alexa-approved. Because yes, it tells jokes while it jams. The bass is punchy, and the soundstage is wide enough for both your living room and your neighbor's kitchen, but play music in the regular mode, and things get a bit echoey. A touch like your favorite band performing in a tiled shower. It's lively, it's mighty, and at this price, it's basically your budget's best friend at band camp. 8 out of 10. Sony HTS2000. Sony's soundbar squeezes big dramatic sound into a sleek, friendly box. Think smooth vocals and drums thumping hard enough to make your playlist high-five you back. Dolby Atmos support adds that sweet layer of three-dimensional whoa, but the bass won't quite rattle your fillings unless you splurge on Sony's extra sub. Still, fire up your favorite tune and feel absolutely surrounded by sound. Just try to ignore its lack of streaming bells and whistles. For music, this one seriously rocks for the price. 8 out of 10. LG S95TR. LG's S95TR rolls in like a luxury limo packed to the roof with speakers, armed to turn your living room into an absolute music playground. Flip it on, and the 810 watts kick up some serious volume. Think wake the neighbors loud. But with real Dolby Atmos and AI tuning, the detail and balance stay smooth, even at barely awake volume. But if you're expecting studio-perfect finesse, sometimes it's a little boom-happy, and the app locks some features away like a pesky bouncer. Though it still leaves your playlists floating in sweet surround sound. 8 out of 10. JBL Bar 1300X. The JBL Bar 1300X blasts in with a 12-inch subwoofer, shaking floors and rattling the dog's chew toys. But the real magic is how it makes music come alive. Crisp highs, thumping lows, and wireless satellites that fill your space with sound like your favorite band set up camp in your lounge. It's flexible, too, with streaming options galore and calibration that tailors the tunes to your pad, making even prog rock sound refined instead of chaotic. Sure, you'll pay a pretty penny, but for pure music enjoyment and rumble, this soundbar gets top marks and 0 wires to untangle. 9 out of 10. Sony Bravia Theater Bar 9. Sony's Theater Bar 9 shows up dressed classy, tries to impress with fancy spatial sound tricks, but forgot to bring the bass, so you're left wondering where the party went. Dialogue pops and treble sings clear enough for audiobooks or podcasts, but for music? It's like ordering a sundae and discovering the shop ran out of chocolate sauce. Add satellites and a subwoofer and things get fun. But solo, it's not enough to get your playlist dancing. 5 out of 10. Sennheiser Ambeo Soundbar Plus. If you want music to sound like it's filling up your room and maybe half your neighbors, the Ambeo Plus brings a wide, dynamic soundstage that's almost too immersive for its size. It's smooth and classy, squeezing out orchestral sweeps and vocals with impressive natural detail. But the Ambeo mode does sometimes make voices float around like a confused ghost, so toggle that if things start to echo. Setup's a breeze and musical ability is top-notch, but all that tech wizardry comes with a price tag heavier than the soundbar itself. 9 out of 10. JBL Bar 1000 Kai. This soundbar crashes into your living room with 960 watts of pure, unapologetic power and detachable speakers that are basically surround sound on wheels. Music and bass hit hard enough to rattle windows, and the streaming options are endless. But you might need a bigger room, and forgiveness from your downstairs neighbor, to actually fit that thunderous subwoofer. If you love versatility, booming sound, and party tricks like moving speakers around, it'll blow you away. Just don't forget to charge the rears unless you like surprise silence mid-playlist. 8 out of 10. Samsung 8W S60D. This all-in-one bar does a good job for music with decent clarity and a nicely balanced profile, but let's be honest, it's missing the rumble. High bass tries its best, but true low-end is off somewhere else having more fun. Great for casual listening and dialogue, but if you're craving chest-thumping beats or realistic surround, Well, your sound is going to feel a little stuck in the middle. Ideal if you want fuss-free tunes in every room and love tweaking sound modes, but party animals should probably look elsewhere. 6 out of 10. Sony Bravia Theater Bar 6. The Bravia Theater Bar 6 is like inviting a polite party guest. Impressive with the spatial audio tricks, but the bass loves stealing snacks and crashing the conversation. It can fill your living room with movie effects and play sounds above your head, though the subwoofer sometimes drops in like a bowling ball at a poetry slam, making music feel a bit lumpy but not totally lifeless. If you want clarity and punch for movies with a side of decent music, sure. Just be ready to chase the bass out when it gets rowdy. 6 out of 10. Sonos Beam Gen 2. Sonos Beam Gen 2 might be small, but it brings big sound and crystal clear voices, turning streaming nights into bedroom concerts, minus the sticky floors. The Beam handles music with room-filling vibes, and the True Play tuning makes everything sound like it's been run through a magic filter. But let's be honest, the lack of a subwoofer means your EDM playlist might shake your confidence more than your furniture. For everything but earth-shattering bass, this compact cutie is singing in all the right places. 8 out of 10. JBL Bar 500 MK2. The JBL Bar 500 MK2 is the soundbar equivalent of someone crash landing into your living room in a space-age suit, blasting 750 watts of surround sound so vibrant, your popcorn might feel threatened. It's got deep bass, immersive 5.1 channel sound, and Dolby Atmos doing backflips in 3 dimensions, giving musical tracks a warm, balanced feel. Though the bass, while tasty, might not level your house like a vintage club sub. If you want cinematic impact on movie night and bold music playback, JBL's got the goods and the booms. 9 out of 10. Samsung HWQS700F. Plug in the Samsung HWQS700F, and suddenly your living room gets the audio glow-up of the year. With bass deep enough to rattle your neighbor's plants and up-firing speakers that bounce sound so well, you'll think you have a musical ghost in the attic. The setup is laughably easy. One cable and you're on your way to premium sound that makes even your most overplayed playlist sound fresh. All wrapped in a silver design that's so stylish, it almost feels like your TV is underdressed. Whether you're blasting Beethoven or bumping Beyoncé, the music stage is wide, vocals are crisp, and transitions are as smooth as your playlist shuffle. If only your dance moves were as tight. 8 out of 10. Samsung HWQ990F. The Samsung HWQ990F rolls into your living space like the party guest who brings a 12-piece jazz band, fills your room with rich, layered sound, and has rear speakers that actually know their job, giving you full 360-degree music so immersive, the cat will start picking a favorite genre. Bass is punchy but not overbearing, dialogue is clear, and switching modes and tweaking settings is a breeze. So whether you're amping up a playlist or hosting an impromptu karaoke battle, you get music that's powerful, detailed, and never annoys your neighbors, unless you want it to. If you want your music to wrap around you like a cashmere blanket or a disco ball, this beast delivers room-shaking performance that's both fun and precise, making it hard to blame Samsung for showing off this much. 9 out of 10. Sennheiser Ambeo Soundbar Mini. The Sennheiser Ambeo Mini may look like the shy kid in the corner, but turn it on and it belts out music big enough to fill the room. With bass so crisp you'll double-check nobody snuck a subwoofer behind your couch. It spits out wide, clear sound for music and movies, uses smart tech to boost any track into immersive audio. Though the virtual surround party doesn't quite hit life-of-the-party status, it still gets the job done for most listeners. Perfect for small spaces and clean setups, the Ambeo Mini serves up punchy low-end and satisfying detail. But if you crave massive spatial effects, it might leave you gently nodding rather than throwing your hands in the air. 7 out of 10. Sonos Ray. This little bar claims to fill your room with sound, but for music lovers, it is kind of like ordering a salad at a steakhouse. Crisp, clean, but missing the main event. It punches above its weight when boosting TV dialogue, yet with music, you may notice the bass taps out early and things get, let's say, politely restrained. If your playlist thrives on deep bass drops and dance floor vibes, the Ray will politely suggest you keep the party next door so audiophiles may want to look elsewhere. 5 out of 10.